Hi, Freedom Wing. This is Chaplain Mattina. I hope this message finds you well. I want to speak to you today about a topic on patience and how it relates to time. So we begin with the sacred scripture, Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom should I fear? The Lord is my life's refuge. Of whom should I be afraid? When evildoers come at me to devour my flesh, my foes and my enemies themselves stumble and fall. Though an army encamp against me, my heart will not fear. Though war be waged upon me, even then will I trust. I believe that I shall see the bounty of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord with courage. Be stout-hearted and wait for the Lord. My dear friends, this psalm concludes with these words: wait for the Lord with courage, be stout-hearted, and wait for the Lord. So there you have a time reference, wait. We don't always do well with waiting for certain things. However, life presents us with endless opportunities to practice waiting. And how we wait for small inconveniences like getting at an intersection and waiting for the traffic light to go from red to green tells us a little bit about ourselves. How do we respond to those small inconveniences, or maybe some challenging inconveniences like currently with the pandemic? The other day I went to buy essential food items, went to Walmart and pulled up and saw a long line, and people had to wait. Some people were joyful, talking to each other, playing videos, laughing, music. Other people were bitterly complaining. How we wait with these opportunities that life gives us really do speak about who we are, tells us something about ourselves. And the reality is there are things that you and I cannot change or control. And there are things that we can control, like our words, our thoughts, our actions. Spirituality is that part of who we are that forms our character, forms how we conduct our daily affairs. And we would do well to think about, especially in this current challenge and crisis of the pandemic, what is my interior attitude? How does it manifest itself in my conversations with loved ones, with friends, even with our own self-awareness, my own attitude toward life in general? And therefore, I would invite you to consider how you relate to time, how whether or not patience is a virtue that is actually being cultivated right now in your life. The other day in my church, I was ready to provide a message for a very small group of people, under 10, and a bird, a robin, had come into the church, and it's flying around, flying around for hours. We had to wait because it's making a lot of noise, trying to get out, banging its head against a stained glass window, something I had no control over. And eventually, the bird flew away. How do we deal with the everyday life circumstances? What is our attitude? How are our attitudes shaped and formed through these very simple and ordinary life events? I share with you, therefore, a prayer that puts into reality and context what we're dealing with currently. Be not afraid to place in the proper context things that we have control over and things that we do not, and have a proper spiritual human outlook. The following prayer I share with you. May we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have no risk factors remember those most vulnerable. May those who have the luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. May those who have the flexibility to care for our children when schools close remember those who have no options. May we who have to cancel a trip remember those who have no safe place to go. May we who are losing our margin of money in the tumult of the economic market remember those who have no margin at all. May those who settle for quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear and anxiety grips our country, let us choose love during this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other. Let us find ways to be the loving embrace to God and neighbor. Patience and time. How will we deal with it? And how does it shape and define who we are? God bless you. Be assured of my continued prayers for your health and well being.